Kentucky news, October 6th. It's raining. My basement's flooded. I'm pissed about it. Still raining. So my basement's getting more flooded. I've turned on my furnace, and my furnace is in the basement, so it's getting all grounded. I think I smelled a motor burnt up. So I have to get that fixed. um, yeah, okay, so there's some articles that I've come across recently. This is posted October 3rd, updated October 4th, WHAS11.com. Man shot, killed at Chalet Village Apartments. ID, police search for gunman. Shively, Kentucky. The man who was shot, killed in a shooting at the Chalet Village Apartments on Dixie Highway Thursday night has been identified. Tony Grady, 23, died of multiple gunshot wounds, according to the coroner. Police are continuing to search for the gunman who shot and killed Grady and injured a woman at Chalet, I think it's Chalet, Chalet Village. Shively police said a man shot multiple times at a white car that was parked at the Chalet Village off the 3800 block of Dixie Highway. So the 3800 block. The shooter killed Grady, the driver, and hit the female passenger. Latasha Gaunt lives right in front of where the shooting happened and said she heard two shots and screaming. Gaunt said she looked out of her living room window and saw the car doors opened and the driver slumped over. Police said the two victims did not live at the complex, which has several residents concerned. Witnesses told police the shooter took off on foot. The woman was taken to University Hospital where her condition is unknown. The identity of the man who was shot and killed has not been released, and at the time, the motive is not known. Anyone who knows anything, call Shively Police. So that's the article written by Brittany Gonzalez. So Tony Grady was shot and killed, and I guess his girlfriend was in the hospital, and it was shot by just a random person who took off on foot. They said that Mr. Grady didn't live in the area, and that the person who ran off he didn't live around there either. So nobody knows what happened to the guy. So that was posted 3 days ago. Yeah, so 23. It's pretty young to die. Tony Grady, R.I.P. Tony Grady. There's a raid at a smoke shop leads to drug arrest. Marijuana, prescription pills, synthetic drugs, and weapons were found in a smoke shop Thursday, led to the arrest of two men. This is by Josh Kaufman, and it's posted October 4th, yesterday, Wave 3 News, or 2 days ago. Executing a search warrant, detectives with Louisville Metro Police and Jefferson County Sheriff's Office raided the 3rd Street smoke shop on South 3rd Street Road. Inside, let's see, my bad. Executing a search warrant, they raided 3rd Street Smoke Shop on South 3rd Street Road. So 3rd Street Smoke Shop. It's the Al Musa Abdul Halik and Hazim Al Daraji. So they're of Arabic descent. They're in the 3rd Street Smoke Shop. They got hit up and they had, marijuana and some pills. And I don't know. It doesn't seem like they didn't really do anything, but except for possess this stuff. Drug sniffing dog found the pot behind a cooler in the storage room. So behind a cooler in the storage room, there could have been anybody's, right? Spice was hidden in compartments around the sales counter where officers claimed they also found money and drug paraphernalia. I remember actually, I remember going into their store one time and I just asked for something that they didn't have and then I walked out, but it did seem like it was all tense. A large pile of money was lying with the spice. Arrest records allege denominations. Yeah, of course, the money, the police are going to take the money. And then they say he had a 9mm handgun on him, on his waistband, like that's something, They have Louisville addresses, are charged with possession of drugs. So that's it, just a business. Some of the owners or some of the people who run a business was arrested. I mean, they'll be charged, they'll be released, and then they can go back running their business. Hopefully their business is still going. 3rd Street Smoke Shop on South 3rd Street. So it's just interesting when the police, want to fuck somebody up, then they're fucking people up too. And when they are out to hurt people, they're usually 100% successful with their mission. They're out to hurt somebody. Either they go peacefully and they get charged and they get fined and they get thrown in prison to get molested by those prison guards, because the prison guards in Louisville, Kentucky, they are a bunch of fucking they're molesters. I mean, that's all they do. They just want to feel all the men up. So that's sexual harassment, right? That's not good. And you have then you have this other story with Grady, Mr. Grady, Tony Grady, right? Tony Grady, he got shot. Who knows by what happened? And I feel like a lot of people say maybe a bad drug deal or something. And so, there's one is a drug bust, right? So this could have been, it's just that there's similar issues are involved with the two stories, and whereas the police will make sure they hurt you, make sure they'll go in and bust you and hurt you when they actually need to solve, a case and solve a situation, they're nowhere to be found. Tony Grady is shot, 23-year-old Tony Grady is shot, and I don't know if anybody will ever find out, what happened to him. Um, there's also the LMPD. They killed Leon Brackens. Leon Brackens. What the fuck, LAPD? LMPD, not LA. This ain't LA. It's LMPD. Louisville Metro, right? The LMPD. They killed Leon Brackens, this skinny old man who had sickle cell anemia, who was kidnapped basically, and he's called the 911 trying to get out of the vehicle, and that he's scared that they're going to die. And when eventually they pulled over, they just beat the shit out of him, and they put him on a wheelchair, and then he dies. He was in a hospital for 8 months. They fucked him up. They beat up a feeble old fucking man, and it's amazing. He just wanted justice. He's dead. He's dead. And so he was 8 months in the hospital. He was, filed these cases and stuff, but he was just feeble and in a wheelchair. He had a seatbelt on. His hands are up. It's just ridiculous what the LMPD did to this gentleman, Leon Brackens. So, when they're ready to fuck you up, the LMPD is always ready to hurt somebody. But when it actually comes to, protecting and serving the general population, they're nowhere to be found. There is also Timothy Greer. He was beat up pretty bad by the police. They're just punching him and kicking him in the head. 23-year-old Timothy Greer, and they want to charge him with trafficking marijuana, which they could have just planted. They could have just planted this stuff in it, and then that's it. And also, I noticed with both of these stories, with the smoke shop story, with this story, they don't name the police. They just say LMPD, as if like you're not. So the police is a monolithic organization. They don't ever say who the police are because they defend them. They don't name names because they only, if the police victimize you, then the police are right no matter what. And that's bullshit, because those are individuals too. It doesn't matter. Switch the roles, switch the roles. If you think one is a bad person, well, imagine that bad person now having a badge, okay? So you just put a badge on a bad person. There's a big fight that happened at Beecher Terrace. More than 100 people were reported to be fighting. This is by wave 3. 3 were arrested. Fight involving more than 100 people in a public housing complex. Beecher Terrace is well known for having fights. But it is pretty, they arrested 3 ladies. But they said 100 people were involved in the fight. So 100 people were involved in it. So like everybody, like 100 people. A fight involving more than 100 people in public housing spurred the arrest of at least 3 women. And one's accused of trying to incite a riot. So, inciting a riot, that's what these ladies were arrested for. Like, none of this makes any sense. They said the officers assigned LMPD Viper Squad, so that's your Aaron Browning and Joel Casey and Steve Conrad. That's Steve Conrad's baby. That's his personal private security firm. That's his own secret service, his own private secret service. He's allowed to make the LMPD Viper Squad do whatever they want to do. That's identical to what was the Shield. Okay, the Shield, you had Michael Crichton or whatever the main dude was, who was like a corrupt cop, but he did good stuff, so you was like okay with the corrupt shit he was doing because overall he was deep down good inside. But it shows that they're allowed to do as they please. They can do as the fuck as they please, right? They don't have to wear any uniforms. They don't have to identify themselves. They don't have to tell you who they are. When they show up, they'll just pop out of nowhere and they'll just start beating you up, okay? And that's the LMPD. That's what the LMPD. That's what they do. So that's the LMPD Viper Squad. That's the specific special unit, which is the Steve Conrad's the police chief. So it's the special unit of police that's under the police chief of Louisville. So the Viper Squad, and Viper is known as like violence, interception, something. They're supposed to lower violence, okay? All three women in the police records are accused of criminal trespassing. Signs posted in the complex ban people from unlawfully entering the area. So just like in other high crime areas, so you're not allowed to walk in. So they're saying that they didn't live there. Police records say an alarmed crowd gathered in a hostile environment. Denise Darby, 25, of Louisville, was yelling in the street when she was detained. According to arrest reports, third-degree trespassing is the only charge she faces. Michelle Abernathy, 32, of Louisville, is also charged with loitering, disorderly conduct, failure to disperse. She was yelling obscenities, refused orders to be quiet and to leave, which is ridiculous. To be quiet as if like they're children. Chara Shepard, 34, of Louisville, is also charged with disorderly conduct, inciting to riot. Her actions listed arrest reports similar to others. So I don't know. I don't know if they live there. This doesn't tell the story. This tells nothing. This pretty much was a bad written up story. They told the very bare minimum of what's going on here. They didn't say who the police were involved. So again, the police get to come in and be violent psychopaths, and who knows if they handled the situation right. They never do. They fucked up with Timothy Grier. They're kicking Timothy Grier in the face. They murdered Leon Brackens. They just come into fucking people's backyards, and maybe these three women that they're accused of, maybe they actually did do some good. Maybe they were the ones that came in and started a big commotion, and they came out from the outside and they were picking on somebody that was living there. If that's the case, then that's no good. You don't want anything like that. But what if it's what if that's not the truth? So what would be the difference between the police with who they're accusing of? The police come in, they hurt somebody, some local folks, who may just and get involved in a complicated situation and pick the wrong people and arrest the people who was already victimized, further victimizing the victims. When you get into a fight and you two people are going, you don't know what's going on. You have no idea what's happening between those two. The only way you can find out is to ask them what's going on. But two people fighting, that does not mean you got two bad people there. You have possibly two bad people, possibly two good people, and possibly one person wronged the other, and they was executing justice. So those are all the possibilities. Okay, so that happened. Beecher Terrace. You have the raid at the smoke shop, which I already mentioned. There's a woman who is injecting heroin while her 2-year-old was in the car. She's from Indiana. It's a white woman with looks like teal blue eyes. After police said she was injecting heroin with her daughters in the back seat, October 2nd, Keisha Wilkie, 24, was observed sitting in her green Ford for an extended period of time at 19th and Broadway. According to officers, a spot known to be a high drug trafficking area. So 19th and Broadway. She was sitting in a green Ford at 19th and Broadway, right? And they said that's where they caught her, at 19th and Broadway. Police report states that officers witnessed Wilkie injecting heroin as they approached. When she saw the officers, she tried to conceal a metal spoon and loaded syringe under her leg. Stepped out of the car, threw a baggie suspected heroin down the sewer gate, recovered the baggie. The police did, upon searching the car, found a Loratab and a 2-year-old baby. Wilkie's charged with possessing heroin, possessing controlled substance, possessing drug paraphernalia, endangering the welfare of a minor. Well, I got 10 seconds, whatever. It's horse shit, but hopefully that child is, going to be taken care of. They're just going to put it in orphanages. They're going to keep the mother locked away. They're going to get the mother rehab and give her the help that she needs. Probably not.